Edward, can you make a video about a link building strategy for a new website? What would you do? Thank you, Oleg, for the question. I'm going to answer that. Just the basics out of the way. If you don't know, link building, it means getting backlinks. And backlinks are algorithmic authority. It's like positive word of mouth. A backlink is when one site links to another site, and this is basically that site telling Google that the site that is being linked to is reputable. Positive word of mouth. So you tell your friend, oh my God, you need to try this product, or you need to check out this website. And that's what a backlink is, except it's literally with websites linking to each other. And then Google interprets that as one website vouching for another website. So we should trust the website that is being linked to. We should trust that website more. These are basics of search engine optimization. The more backlinks you have, the more trust you have, the more you can rank for competitive keywords. That's the basics out of the way. Now, there's more basics because I do a different type of SEO than everybody else, which is I target keywords where people are searching, looking to take action. They know what they want. They don't know the brand that is going to give them what they want. So they're Googling, trying to find the brand that's going to give them what they want. They're not trying to learn. They're not trying to be educated. They already know. They've already learned. Now they're just literally trying to click a button that says, buy now, try now, use now, contact somebody. They're looking to take action. And these keywords, they are super overlooked. These purchase intent keywords, they're super overlooked. And because they're overlooked, they're less competitive. And that means you need less backlinks to rank for them. Now, if you're a new website, it's going to be a brand new website with no links. You're not going to rank for them. You need to have some links. You always need to have some, your website in general needs to have some links. You don't need to get links for the specific pages that are targeting these high purchase intent keywords, but you need to have some links to your to your home site, to your root domain home site. You need to have some links in order to rank for these keywords. So it is important to build backlinks if you are a new site. And what I like to do is I like to build backlinks over time. I stick with businesses for years and years and years. So this adds up. My link building activity, me going out of my way to get backlinks, it adds up. You think of a new paradigm shift and then you get more backlinks from that. There are all these things that add up and add up and add up. With that said, there are basically 3 things that I do at the beginning when I start a new site. There are 3 things that I do to start getting backlinks to it. And that's what I'm going to share on this episode of the show. It's the 3 key ways that I build links, that I get backlinks to a new site to answer Oleg's question. And, Oleg's question got some other people giving it thumbs up. So that means the community wants to know. The community wants to know. And that's why I'm making this. Thank you, everybody, for upvoting that comment. Number 1, I launch it. I launch my product, my service, whatever it is, launch it in places. If you have a tech product, launch it on Product Hunt. I actually have an amazing guide on how to launch on Product Hunt on my website, edwardsturm.com. You can Google edwardsturm.com Product Hunt, and that guide will come up. It's also going to be in the description for this episode. You can also launch on BetaList. In any niche, whatever industry, there are always niche-specific platforms. You can Google them or do ChatGPT deep research or Ask Grok. There's so many different ways. There are so many niche-specific launch platforms to launch on. But also, what a lot of people don't do, which you should definitely be doing, launch on social media. Launch on especially LinkedIn. Launch on X. Announce it on Instagram with a link in your story. Having Google Analytics when you do this, by the way, so Google Analytics can see. Say the brand name, because some people might just Google the brand name. Make sure you are connected to Google Search Console and you've had a few friends click on your link to your site. Make sure you submitted yourself to Google Search Console so Google knows who you are. So when people are actually searching the brand name comes up. You want, like, the easiest way to do that is literally when you make the site, just send it to a few friends all over the place so they can click on it. And again, make sure it is submitted to Google Search Console. Google Search Console is Google's own tool for telling Google, hey, I exist. This is me, and these are the pages on my site. You should index me. I'm going to click Submit Index. You actually have to click Submit to Google's index. There's a button to do that. Super easy. Submit your sitemaps so Google knows who you are. Make sure that you are showing up on Google for your brand name. My SEO course, it's called Compact Keywords. I made it so when people search compact keywords, my page shows up number 1 for compact keywords on Google. Very easy to do that. Make sure you do that. and then announce it with the brand. Have people literally search your brand name and then click on it in Google. And I'll get back to this more in a minute, but you can do this with social posts, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, Threads, whatever, and then actually linking to your site as well. So that's number one. Launch in all these different ways, launch platforms and social media. Number two, directories. I love directories. The thing is, if you are a real business, you got to think about this. If you are a real business, you are submitting yourself to directories. If you're a real business and you don't know about SEO, you are submitting yourself to directories. That's something that businesses that don't know about SEO, they do. That is just a normal business activity that you put yourself in directories within your niche and then overall general directories. And there are directories for everything. There are directories for every niche, and then there are general directories. If you're a construction company, you go in construction company directories, but then you also create a LinkedIn page. You also have a social handle for your company. You're also in Crunchbase. Like, there's so many different directories, general directories, and niche directories to submit to. There are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of directories that you should be submitting to. Alternative to, that's another common one, alternative2.net. When I submit to directories, I have a template that I use, because if you change something major, something like if you're changing the entire direction of your company, for example, you want to reflect that in your directories. So whenever you submit yourself to a directory, just really quickly have a spreadsheet that tracks the email, username, and password, and what you write as the description, as the main description for those directories, 4 columns. Track this. And if you're ever making a big change, then you can spend a few hours changing that in all the directories that you submitted yourself to. But submit to directories. There are local directories if that's relevant. Again, there are dozens of directories. That is number 2. Number 3 is more of an ongoing effort. Actually, 1 is kind of an ongoing effort too. I'll talk about this a little bit more in a second, but like whenever you do anything with your business, announce it on social media. That's back to number 1. Number 2, you're always finding new directories, but you're going to probably submit to the bulk of them at the beginning of your business. Number 3, I love expert quote platforms. These are platforms where journalists are looking for an expert for their stories to quote in their stories, and they are writing a story about X, Y, and Z. They need an expert to agree with the premise of their story or to help them write the story. They post to a place like Source of Sources or Help a Reporter Out. They say, hey, I'm looking for an expert for my story. You answer, you are the expert for that story. They choose you, you get a link. Bada bing, bada boom, and that's how it works. I would do one of these per day. I would use Source of Sources, Help a Reporter Out, and Featured.com. So the founder of Featured.com, Brett Farmelo, he just bought Help a Reporter Out, which for a long time kind of was the gold standard. It was the most popular of these expert quote platforms. On Featured.com, I have a 76% acceptance rate. Whenever I respond to a journalist on Featured.com, there's a 76% chance that a journalist will use my quote, and I will get a link from that. However, I think you'll get the most valuable backlinks from, in this order, Source of Sources, then Help a Reporter Out, and then Featured.com. So I would respond to I like to do things. I think it's a lot easier if you spread things out than trying to do things all at once. So I would just respond to 1 journalist a day and do that for a few months. Aggregate quote requests from Source of Sources, from Help a Reporter Out, and from Featured.com in a separate folder. In the way that it works, these platforms work, is they send out every day. They send out emails. Hey, these reporters are looking for quotes. Can you answer them? If yes, here is their contact. So I send all of these to a single folder on my email inbox, and then I read through them each day. I see what I can answer. I only answer 1 a day. I prioritize Source of Sources above everything. I think it has the best journalists. Help a Reporter Out is second, and then Featured.com is third. But you generally want to look for the biggest publications, especially ones that are in your niche. The biggest journalists in your niche, and you want to respond to them. Start your response with why you are an expert, then give them the quote that they are looking for. Don't try to pitch your business. You can do it if it's relevant, but your about section is going to have a link to your site with language around what your site does. So I would do that one time a day. And then over time, you get a bunch of links from that. and it builds your authority that way. Those were 3 ways. I also want to say, and I talked about this a few episodes ago, that was episode 659 of this podcast. I genuinely believe linkable assets are the best thing ever for link building. Linkable assets are creating something so cool, useful, or interesting that people can't help but link to you. I shared the story on episode 659 of the show of DoNothing.com. DoNothing.com is a simple web app that promoted the Calm app. And on DoNothing.com, you don't move your mouse, you don't type, you do that for 2 minutes, and that's it. It's meant to promote mindfulness. This went so viral that it got links from, I think, 7.1 thousand websites, 384,000 backlinks. You can't pay for those results. You could spend the same amount of time testing different linkable assets, launching them all on Product Hunt or in different places, seeing which ones stick and gamble that virality game. Or you could do this like 1 a day, submit to directories, all this stuff. I personally think the best way to do it is to actually do everything. Launch on the launch platforms, launch updates for your business whenever you have them. That's what I want to stress, that whenever you have any update for your business, launch it on LinkedIn, launch it on Instagram, announce it on social media. The thing about announcements on social media, blogging isn't as common as it used to be. So normal backlinks are not as common as they used to be, which means Google is looking at other sources of engagement for that algorithmic word of mouth. So actually having clicks to your site is really important. Google is looking at that as another form of engagement. Google is looking at social media shares as another form of engagement. Now, the signals are not as strong as backlinks, but they're strong enough to be worth considering, especially for new websites. Sharing every update and being in other places, this also helps with topic modeling. It helps tell Google what you are about, helps Google understand what your website's expertise is, which then helps you rank for keywords within that expertise, search terms in that expertise. So share every update, and then do directories. And it doesn't take long to respond to a journalist a day, respond to 1 journalist a day, and then try to think of linkable assets that will go viral. And if you think of one that's good, make it in a weekend and launch it on a launch platform. Linkable assets is all about creativity. So I shared on that episode of the show, 659. I think now 7 days into this creativity challenge. The challenge is use a random object generator. You can Google random object generator. It will give you 5 random objects every day. And then just spend 5 minutes each day writing a short story or an idea about how they're related. And it's not about the spelling. You just kind of let your mind vomit the story or the idea onto the page, connecting all 5 of these random objects. Creativity is like a muscle. You can increase creativity just like you can increase the muscles in your arm. It's practice. And so I'm spending 5 minutes a day just working on improving my creativity, because the best results that you can get with anything are usually the most creative. So I'm doing that. I hope you all will join me for that. Share your results if you are. I'm 7 days in without missing a single day. And then if you want to learn more about link building, on my website, edwardsturm.com, if you go to my articles section, there's a big SEO button. I write about SEO, organic social, paid media, miscellaneous marketing, but there's a huge SEO button, and I have more articles about link building there. And the last thing is, for my SEO course, Compact Keywords, I literally have a 2-hour section showing me doing link building for websites, showing what I use and messages that I send and all these different tactics that I have. It's a 5-video section just on link building within the overall Compact Keywords course. I also have a template in that. So if you want to go even deeper, you can check out compactkeywords.com. And that is all for episode 665 of my daily digital marketing show, 665 days in a row doing this podcast. Thank you so much, Oleg, for the question, and everybody else who gave Oleg a thumbs up on that question, because it helped me to know that people really want an answer to this. So those are the 3 things that I would focus on. Again, launch platforms, directories, expert quote platforms. Think about linkable assets, announce on social media whenever you have something to announce. And I will talk to all of you again tomorrow. Bye now.